Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today, we'll be discussing how to build business efficiency that go beyond just e-signatures. My name is James Soliday, and I head demand generation here at Anvil. And today, we'll be discussing really the issues with paperwork and how we can solve that through scalability. And in doing so, we're going to show you how to build your first e-signature packet. And then using that same piece of paperwork, actually build an entire workflow from the very beginning to the very end through e-signatures. So you can see how it can truly automate itself. And then we'll just be going over a brief recap of what we learned. So to give you a glimpse in what we're doing today, we're going to take you through our Anvil Etch product. Really, it's our e-signature tool that allows anyone to create e-signatures in minutes. Basically, you upload a PDF, choose your signers, and then send a signature off to the other party. And how we think about it, the relationship with paperwork, it's really a one-to-one relationship. So you're sending it to one person or you're sending it to just a few people through this motion. It's really easy to set up, but what we really want to show you is what you can do with that same piece of paperwork using workflows. Basically, it's taking that same piece of paperwork, gathering data, preparing it in a document, and requesting signature. So not only does it automate the entire paperwork process, which includes part of Anvil Etch, and we'll take you through the entire process of that. So without further ado, let's start working on creating our first e-signature. And so this is the Anvil app. Right here is Etch Esign. So we'll create an e-signature from this. This is our other document template, which you can actually, using an uploaded doc through Etch, start building a document template, which we'll do in the workflows tool. And then this is finally the workflows tool. So let's start by uploading a document. I have a document right here. So we want to first select create e-sign packet. I haven't already filled out one right here, and let's see. And then we're going to need to name it. We have a COVID pre-return to work form, and so the document's uploaded, it's been named. We're not going to save it as a template. We're just going to go through the workflow motion, but you can save it as a template and it will come into the document template. So what we want to do is create the e-sign packet. So from there, you want to add the signer name. I will send it to myself. And .com. Add a signer. And so you can see the signer is added right here. And then it will recognize what form fields you want to put your e-signature. Doesn't need to be right here. It just needs to be at the signature part. So the big thing about e-signatures, it's just a signature tool. So it supports features such as signature date, signature name, signature email. So I'm going to add myself for the e-signature, and then because it's a signature that I want to create, I want to put it right here. And then what I'm going to do is convert to signature type. And so when it's connected, it will mark it as green. When it's not connected with anything, it will mark it as blue. And so then you want to put the signature date, and then under my name, because I set myself as the signer. And then you want to add the signature date and convert it. So you see it's blue right now. It's not connected to anything. We're going to convert it into a signature type, and voila, it turns to green. And so you have the ability also within e-signatures is to add multiple signers. So if you have a very long and complicated document structure that requires multiple e-signatures, you can do that by adding another signature. So if there is someone that needs to sign somewhere below, you can simply add their information and create a new signature and connect all of those fields. In this case, it's just going to be me. So I'm just going to send it along to myself. And so what it will do is it will email me the signature packet to sign. And so it, well, up there it goes. So I'll just need to review and sign the document right here. So I'm drawing my signature right here. And then I'm going to accept it. And then I will need to consent to using electronic signatures. And you see this is the existing document that we filled out right here. The date is already populated. And then I will need to go through and insert my signature. So this will get populated very quickly. And once it does, it will alert me that this is complete, as well as the other stakeholders involved. So just need to press this. And so you can see right there, the signature is added. And then you'll be able to download that information or download them all within a zip file. So when going back here, let's go to Etch. Oh, sorry. I will see the completed document, and I can download it. So there's an actual trail of that, and I'll go more into that when we work on the workflow. So next, we're actually going to, let me go into workflows. And from there, I'm going to build a workflow off of this. I'm going to use the exact same document that's not filled out, but we're going to pre-fill out all of the information that needs to be involved. And so here we go. We're going to upload a file right here. And then select Let's Go. What workflows will do is so this is the preview tool right here. And so this is what it looks like as a PDF. What the Anvil tool has already done is has pre-filled out all of the information right here. So you can see the field name needs to be a short text. Really, in this state, it needs to be a little bit modified. This is so this needs to be cleaned up a little bit right here. So if you see right here, this is text field 1. When users are going to fill out this form, they're just going to see text field 1. So that needs to be cleaned up. And so we'll need to draw and configure PDF fields as necessary. We need to make sure there's clearly as many fillable PDFs are pre-formatted with intelligible field names, and this will save you a lot of time later. So to kind of take the first steps in this, we need to, so you see the employee name, this is text field 1. We need to change the field name to employee name. And so this is a really cool feature of Anvil. It will actually it will intelligently understand what type of field it is, since with the field type, since there are about 30 or 40 different field types that you can select right here: radio groups, images, signatures, all of this. For this case, since it's an employee's name, it needs to be personal information. And so the employee name is right here. And then when you toggle back over to toggle back over to the web form, you see that the employee's name is there. And so kind of going a little bit further into this, we want to put manager's name. And then, yes, it's a name, workplace address. So it's a little bit of work on the front end, But the great thing about this is that you can automate this as much as you like. So additional information. Okay, and it's not the field type is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a long form. And then you want, okay. And so then this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So the radio question, so it's a radio group, and then you need to fill out ask the questions here. So think about it like an employee is going to be filling out this information. So you see their name, and then you're going to need to ask the question. So in filling out this radio group right here, you need to ask the questions. So go back in here, and yes. So you need to change the field name, which will be a question. Right now, this is yes is 0 and no is 1. You're going to need to change that. And we'll just do a couple of these. And yes is 0 and no is 1. And then we'll do one last one. Oops. Yes is 0. This one. So now if you look at this, you can see the first 3 questions. Do you have symptoms of COVID-19 now or in the past 14? Check for a full list of symptoms. If you toggle to preview, you now have a yes, no question. And so I've already gone ahead and saved everyone the 5 minutes and filled out this workflow. So all of these fields are now defined. And then you can, one of the really cool features of this is that you can start branching and creating logic with these questions. So for example, with question 1, if you happen to answer yes to question 1, you can go in and create field logic because it's asking for additional information. So need to change this and create logic or, okay. So in creating a condition with this field, you want to do the or. So if anyone answers questions 1 through 9, we're not going to do all of them right now because just want you to kind of understand it. So we go to question 4, and then the condition on this equals yes, and then you press save. And what will happen is the additional information will be blank. It won't be there unless you answer yes to any of these things. You can, so when I test this out, you can see the question is not there right now. But if I answer yes to this, you can see now that it pops out. So it's asking you for additional information about that. You can create logic in a bunch of different ways. For example, if you answer yes to that, we can route you to a different page saying where you need to get tested for COVID, things like that. So it really kind of becomes very, very scalable. So now that we've configured our fields right here, and we're toggling with all of this, what I want to do is start breaking these pages up a little bit. And let me go back to here where I can edit this. So what I'm gonna do is create a page break. So that's just because it becomes a little bit more intuitive of an experience for the user. So you can see that you toggle between page 1, page 2, and page 3. Page 1 is just your information. Page 2 are questions about exposure to COVID. And then page 3 is just the review and sign documents right here. So the next step in this, what we've done so far is we have configured our PDF. We've uploaded it and created the fields as necessary. We've also configured our web form fields. We've connected our PDF fields to our web form. So both of these are connecting to each other. Actually, let me take you back a step on this. And so I simply just found this form on the internet and uploaded it. It's not the worst form that I've ever seen, but in some cases, some of these forms will be disconnected. And so in order to connect these fields together, you need to, and if it's not already there, you need to create your own web form in here. So for example, if you want to create an input field, you can do that. So let me go back. I apologize. So manager name, I'm just going to delete this. And so if I want to add another input field, I'm just going to put manager name. And then we want it to be their first and last name. And so you can see right here that this field is not connected. What we want to do right now is connect this field. You can see all of the connected fields are in green, the unconnected fields are in blue. So what we're going to want to do is connect that field. So how will you fill this form out here? And you want to be in the PDF toggle right here. So you want to select from a connected web form field because we've created a web form field up, and it's the manager's name. And now you see it's connected. And so taking you back, so that's how you could configure web form fields if they're not connected. We've gone through and added logic. So if no one has, if someone puts yes to this, to question 1, then this will pop up. But if there's a no, it will not. So going back into here. And then lastly, what we want to do in here is add signers. So in order for an e-signature to work, you need to have you need to capture both the name and the email address for each signer. And you need to capture that in the web form field as well as in here, or in the web form field as well as in the PDF. So going back to page 1, so the employee email address is not connected here, but we need that in order to enable them to sign an e-signature, and then it's also not in here. In this case, that's fine. In a lot of cases, unconnected web forms will be able to, you'll be able to do it to create logic here, as well as like things like, adding their email address so we can add a signature. So in order to do that, we want to go to the employee name. So we want to connect this back to the field. We want to connect the employee name. And now we're back into the stage of adding an e-signature. So there's nothing connected right here. We want to make this person the primary signer. And so now this is connected. So the field type is a signature. And then we want to connect it to the primary signer. The field type is a signature date, which is correct. And then we want to make this also the primary signer. So now that we've done this, we want to test the, set up the settings for the workflow tool. And it's really to kind of configure it to your liking. From the settings page, you can adjust and customize a variety of settings from who receives the email notifications down here. And when a submission is complete, and as well as kind of accessibility controls you'd like to add to your workflow. So automatic submission locking, it sets up a time-based lock created by the users. So it'll only be viewable by members of your team from that dashboard. So if you'd like to set it up, you can have a timestamp on this. In this case, we're not going to set it up. And so these all look good. And then also going into the general settings, so the employee name who's going to be receiving this, the literal value is from Anvil Forms, and the signature provider, we're going to use Etch for this, since it is our own version of that. You can also use DocuSign, but there are other licensing that need to be considered with this. So we've got it to our liking. What we're going to do now is publish this. And so I've already gone through a few test submissions. I would highly recommend going through a test submission to your workflow to ensure your web form is working and your PDF output is the way you want it. You want to click the beaker to do this. I've already tested it a few times and it works pretty well. So we're just going to go in. I'm going to take you through what a new submission looks like. And so I'm going to enter my information right here. Anvil.com. Bruce. And then, so workplace address, this will auto-populate. This is actually auto-generated from Google in the USPS. And then we'll select next in here. And so it takes you to the next page. No, I have not. No, 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 oops, no, no. And then review the info. This is all of the info that you had set up. And what it's going to do is that it's going to generate the e-signature and the email packet for you. So unlike manually entering information, scanning it, and sending it over and requiring signatures, it can do this all in one place. So my beautiful John Hancock right there. My name is printed right here, my employee name, Batman, my boss right here. It has my information. I've selected no for all of these. And then what you want to do is start signing. And now that you've inserted your name, and you can see it's pre-populated there, and we're all finished. And so a couple of really cool things about this is that instead of, like I said, the one-to-one relationship you have with paperwork, this could be sent to anyone within your organization. And so, let me take a second. Let me go back to here. Oops, let me go back in the dashboard. And so instead of a one-to-one, it's a one-to-many relationship. Users have the ability, just by sending this out as a link, and you can create emails that's sent out to everyone in your organization. And so instead of doing this once, you can, for example, going back to work with COVID, you could send out weekly emails, ask your employees to send this out. But this is not just COVID related. It helps for insurance, for medical, really kind of any industry that's really heavy on paperwork. This can really help you scale. And so once I go back to this, you can see this is the completed form, and this is a really cool feature. And it has a timestamp of everything, so you can see I viewed the form, I completed it, I signed it, and then it's downloaded it as well. And you can now see this is right here. And so finally, and we're not going to go through this today, but going a step further, this can really kind of help your organization scale exponentially. I think one of the features that kind of differentiates this is that you can talk to your developer to really truly achieve a seamless integration with our full suite of webhooks and APIs. You can fully integrate it to your technology stack, as well as we have now an integration with Zapier. So you can basically no code the entire way through, sharing your data and automatically triggering customized events between your workflow and the other 4,000 applications that are supported by Zapier. So getting back to everything. So let me go present. The problem with paperwork, obviously, it's time consuming. It is very hard to track. I think one of the great features with Anvil workflows is that it tracks all of your interaction with that piece of paperwork. And I think a good thing to take away from this is that Anvil is not just improving efficiency. It's a better way to collect data for your organization. So it becomes a lot less error prone. I think with our Etch e-signature tool, it helps remove that error, but there's still the manual paperwork process that Workflows alleviates. It's very fast. I was able to build this workflow in 10 minutes, and I'm now able to replicate this every single week or every 2 days, however much I want, very simply. It's very easy to track and manage who's filling it out and who's not. And it's completely error-free. If you saw when you're going through that workflow, what you filled out is what you got. And so there's no ambiguity with the data. And so with Anvil Etch combined with workflows, you could build complex workflows in minutes. Our no-code interface allows anyone to easily create online workflows that handle complex data collection and logic. So you can build the entire process, even with an integration that's merging with your technology stack without a developer. And I think that's a really key differentiator. I know developers are busy all the time. So if you want to enable yourself to do it, it is actually very much possible. You can collaborate seamlessly. You can allow multiple parties to contribute information to a workflow submission. You can build it as complicated as you want. Some of our customers have 100 workflow fields and are able to do this very simply. And then the integration piece. You can create a simple Zapier integration with our flexible API. You can also use it during workflows. And it's really the kind of the perfect integration for your existing software stack. I apologize. So anyways, thank you. I hope you give this more insight, and please feel free to go visit our website at useanvil.com. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.